Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of Crypto Tips. My name's Heidi.
And I'm Toby.
And we're so ready for you guys. This is episode 42 of our AMA sessions. Stands for Ask Me Anything. These questions were sent in to us by the CT Club members of our Patreon group. Our paid group, we do a ton of content there talking about what we're doing with crypto, things we're paying attention to, warnings, trade alerts, portfolio updates, classes, all that stuff. If you want to check it out, a link to that is down below in the video description.
Okay, let's get into it.
Okay, first question. What do you think about using BitPay card to pay for goods everywhere? Thanks.
I'm not going to sell my Bitcoin.
It's a great idea. Obviously, easy way to, if you want to avoid using a bank, if you want to start becoming unbanked, maybe BitPay is a good idea. It's not necessarily KYC free. Basically, at this point, any crypto debit card that is claiming to be KYC free is a scam, just because if you're dealing with things like Visa or MasterCard, they're going to need to know your information. And those are the ones that are widely accepted. So basically, yeah, it's either KYC free, it's a scam, or you can't use it anywhere, so it's pointless. Pay attention to things like the monthly limits, withdrawals, and deposit limits on crypto debit cards as well.
Definitely the countries you can use them in too.
And that, yeah, as a person, are you allowed to have that card, basically?
Percentage-wise, and then, you know, what...
Commission fees.
Yeah, there's a lot
Some
to
of them
look at.
pay you in crypto for using them, so that's cool. But, again, if it's an appreciating crypto, that's cool. But a really important thing to pay attention to is if you want to be using your crypto as a form of payment, let's say if it's not a stable coin, let's say it's Bitcoin. If you're spending it, essentially you're taking profits or you're realizing losses. So you really need to pay attention to when you're spending it, when you're buying it, because I mean, you got to be smart with your money. You're essentially trading it, right, for a good or service. So are you trading it for profit? Did you buy Bitcoin at $100 and now you can just spend it and it's all in profit? So maybe you should be more inclined to be using your BitPay card during a bull run when prices are high and you're spending less coins to purchase those goods and services. And vice versa, when it's during a bear market or an accumulation phase, maybe you're going to use that to be stocking up your card or spending less coins. Also, could be huge tax implications as well because it's a crypto trade. So pay attention to that. Next question. Or do you have anything to say? Sorry.
No.
I feel like I steamrolled that one. How do you judge news that will affect the price of a coin? For example, the Monero privacy news from a few days ago, it doesn't seem to have affected the price despite showing a flaw in the coin's ideal core value. Basically, there was a bug released about Monero showing, an easy way to link you back to the coins that you thought had been anonymous.
Wait 20 minutes?
Yeah, easy fix. Just be a little bit more patient before you interact with those coins again or send them to a wallet. It's like about 20-minute wait. So I think that's why it's not affecting it as much as before, because number one, by the time when it's something like this, like a bug, by the time they make it public, if it was a responsible disclosure to the team, by the time they make it public, it's already been addressed, or they've warned you about it, right? So you're not susceptible to it anymore.
Code is repairable.
Yeah.
So it's good that people find things like this out.
Yeah.
And it's unlike something that's a closed source, like something that can't be, fixed. Like the attack vectors are great, are things that, little bugs are really good to find out. That's why a lot of the bugs in these other coins don't really affect the price too much. It's because they fix it right away and that's it. And so when you have stuff like this, it only strengthens the network. Like, could you imagine not knowing this? Like, oh, that would suck, Now people know about it and people will fix it. And so it'll be even stronger now. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really important because I think governments will find, will understand where some of these, weak points are. And they'll go, okay, we figured it out, blah, blah, blah. okay, well, just fix it really quick and then try now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
like
good.
a whack-a-mole.
Yeah, it's good.
Except you never get it. But yeah, getting back to this point of how to decipher when to react to when news comes out. Specifically FUD news, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. What we look for, I mean, obviously it perks up our radar. Like it's not so, like we don't like automatically write off every negative news story as like, oh, it's just BS. You got to be responsible, and you got to look for multiple sources that are also talking about this. I tried my best to get like the full picture and what are the solutions, who is actually going to be affected by this, how much of a threat is this actually, because a lot of these FUD pieces, these FUD articles are just that. They are there to incite fear, to get you to try to sell your cryptocurrencies, and most of them are BS, but not always. Like the thing that happened with China, you know, everyone thought that was gonna just destroy Bitcoin, make it incredibly weak. You can, you know, take over Bitcoin because all the mining was happening in China. But what we saw was actually this encouragement, thanks to China, to decentralize the mining of Bitcoin and to actually make it become even more robust once that adjustment period has taken place. So
this is really good. Like I love hearing like exploits like this, because I know the free market is huge. It's way bigger. It's way more flexible than any government could possibly be.
It's a free market and it's an open source community.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. And you know, when you have like China never expected this to happen. They really didn't. They wanted to, you know, shut down the world from crypto.
Good move.
And boy, it backfired big time on them. And that's why I think we haven't seen too much after that. China's like, oh crap, we need to like stop, you know, trying to, you know, control this space too much, because they understand that free markets, like you can't stop it. I mean, you just can't. There's too many people around the world. There's too many smart people around the world that are building against it. So, and governments, you know, they're at least 10 to 15 years behind this space.
Yeah.
Like they're not even close to catching up with what the innovation with this space, like DeFi. Like, guys, they're barely catching up with like the 2017 taxes or whatever.
Think about the government workers who are working to decipher and regulate the crypto community. What are they incentivized by? A tiny paycheck.
A tiny paycheck.
What are the people building this space incentivized by? Actually building amazing innovation, changing the world, and not to mention the profits that come from that side of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be...
Yeah, and also coders, they like, I know a lot of coders, and they are very... the programmers are very, what do you call it, like innovative and creative. You know, they don't want to be like in a system where, you know, they're dictated that you can only move around this box. That's it. That's government for you. So why would any of them work for government, you know, that have any two or three brain cells to use? You know, they're not. I mean, just look at any of these government websites. They're horrible. They're so hard to go around. It's just because they don't have the best people, the smartest people in the world working for them. We do. And I think that scares them a lot, and that's why I see a lot of these regulations coming about. And because crypto essentially is the competitor, it's the dollar's competitor. It's the main competitor, and it's on a losing streak as well. So there's nothing that can beat this space, even remotely. And they understand that. So this is why I think that, you know, things like this are very good for this space, incredibly good, and I look forward to more of these things.
So one last question here before we wrap up. I want to get through this one. This question is, I want to understand increasing Bitcoin dominance as a signal that allocating fiat into Bitcoin as opposed to altcoins will grow more yield against the dollar. Yet allocating a low-priced altcoin before they take off at the end of the bull run seems profitable as well. Factoring Bitcoin dominance into my investment strategy is clear as mud to me. Will you please explain how to utilize this data? Thanks. For me, when we're looking at things like Bitcoin dominance, it's basically an indication of people's trust or faith in what the altcoins are potentially going to do. For example, if you're in the CT Club, maybe if you were in there in June when we started actually consolidating a lot of our altcoins into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDC in preparation to kind of protect our value to what the altcoins were going to do during that downtrend. That's what Bitcoin dominance is. People are contracting out of alts into Bitcoin because, as we all see, is that altcoins can drop horrendously much more than Bitcoin.
95%. Yeah.
So
some might never recover.
Yeah. And also, if you're considering Bitcoin dominance against the altcoins, you're not looking at the value of the dollar. You're looking at the value of the altcoin compared to Bitcoin. So if the altcoin is outperforming Bitcoin, that's great. If it's not, that's when you should maybe be consolidating into Bitcoin as well. And this whole concept of, getting into these low price altcoins before they take off, that's great. But this is also touching on the concept of timing the market perfectly. It's very hard to do. So what we do, we are conservative, but we have been very successful with these conservative strategies, especially if you have time on your hands. We're not trying to do one perfectly timed trade to retire off of for life. So there's not a lot of pressure because we have, we are a long-term perspective on crypto. And so that gives you a lot of wiggle room as well. But obviously, if you buy an altcoin low and it pumps during a bull run, you're going to see a lot of profits, maybe even more profit than you would see with Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. So what we do is conservative. We dollar cost average into Bitcoin, into a few other altcoins that we see as long-term potential. And similarly, we will be adjusting our position out of Bitcoin into altcoins when we see that the bull run is kicking off. And we will see plenty of profits from that, even though we didn't perfectly time the bottom of the altcoin. I mean, we can try, but basically you can just wait until the trend is confirmed and then still see huge profits in your altcoins as well. And then once you've seen those profits according to your investment plan, if you have one, I hope that you do. If you don't, check out our latest class available to you in the classes category called How to Formulate an Investment Plan. You'll see the profits that you made, take those profits, allocate it into, again, however you plan, whether it's a stable coin, whether it's into cash, whether it's into Bitcoin, what have you. So yeah, that's my thought on Bitcoin dominance. Yeah. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. Thank you all for tuning in. If you appreciate these videos, if you find them to be informative or educational or entertaining, hit that like button and hit subscribe to get more videos like this coming out. They're coming out all the time. So.
Yep. Stay disobedient.
Say something, Toby. I feel like I'm talking the whole time.
You are.
Sorry.
That's good. Bye, guys.
Bye.